Thank you very much, Cass Kyla. Appreciate you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another wonderful round of West Coast Wednesdays Summer Championship. We are singing here, and because I'm singing, the championship might be over. Ricardo Rivera's got 307 points to his name with 275 going out to Mattia Porta. Jace Wright in third place with 193 and Neil Kerbel with 174 to their name. This is where it gets awfully close. Curtis Rustin with 165, 153 for Cronotis. Giovanni Wee with 151, 148 for Eric the Boss Kakasi and Dean Stefani, Joshua Worley, Anthony Kelly. All have a championship contention right now for fourth place or below, being best of the rest. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you very much for your love and support. We appreciate everything you've been doing. We've got a little bit of qualifying left, so let's get right to it and see what the drivers are up to so far. And looking at the timing tower, it looks like the best lap time on the grid right now will be a 143.2. Next to Luke Lozama's 143.3. Then we got Jake Wells with a 143.4. 143.4 for Mattia Porta, Mason Pirochaski, Darren Wicks, Kyle Hirsch, Dean Stefani, Jace Wright, Josh Worley, Anthony Kelly, Patrick Dubois, Potts Weaver, Alex Freeman, Daniel Hirsch, Philip Souzo, Neil Kerbel, Eric Akasi, and Devin Anthony, Rand Marino, and Professor Cronotis rounding out this 21 driver grid that we have right now. So this is going to be a very exciting finale to the championship due to the fact that Laguna Seca just ended up not working, unfortunately. But for the most part, things are working now, and let's keep our fingers, toes, and everything else crossed right now. Let's see how this is all going to pan out. What I'm really curious about is what the best of the rest is going to look like. With Jace Wright right now throwing down 9th place, Mason Pirochowski leapfrogs his way up into 6th place. All the drivers coming into the pit lanes, just finishing up their session right now. But what I'm curious about the most, perhaps, is how the rest of this championship is going to play out. 4th and below, Jake Wells now into 3rd place. Well, that throws a wrench into my plans because Jake Wells, he's in 15th place right now in this championship with 127. with 30 championship points on the line for P1, this could be a contention to get some major points and bump himself up a decent amount of ways in this championship. He's got some pretty good pace beneath him, and a lot of the other drivers not so much dealing with the squirrely bits of this track. At least that last final hairpin section is not one of anybody's favorites, I don't think. The double chicane, really not my cup of tea, and let me know in the chat comments if it is your cup of tea, and I will hush my mouth about it then after that. Let's take a quick look at the drivers. We are going to have a short stint going to the grid, so we're going to have to start our grid walk nice and early. And no, I didn't say Joshua Worley, I said early. You guys always get excited now when I say that name. And we're going to have quite a bit of time, actually, to get through all 21 of these drivers. So let's see if we can stretch this one out so I don't have to fumble it as much as I typically do. The chicane might not be my favorite, but there's also nothing wrong with it. It's fine, jumpy geriatric gamer. No one asked you anyways. The chicane is death, and everybody hates it. Except, no, I'm just kidding. Thank you very much for your comment. May not be my favorite, but you're okay with it? That's the most indecisive answer I've heard in a long time about that chicane, I will say. Either you love it or hate it, I feel like, and I'm definitely a hater of it. I like the flowy bits that we used to have here at Barcelona. And fun fact, Barcelona, Circuit de Catalunya, is nowhere near Barcelona. In case you decide to go traveling to Barcelona, do not buy your tickets for this event. It is about a 3-hour train ride. And with that being said, let's get started with the grid walk for the West Coast Wednesdays. We got Ricardo Rivera in P1 holding down a 143.2 in the 787. We've got Luke Lozama in P2, only 1.150 behind in the number 11. Jake Wells in the 527. He's 0.2 back from the leader right now. Mattia Porta chalking in into 4th place for the number 44. Very fitting for him. And we got Darren Wicks, the Canadian, in the number 46. Great to see him and his dad racing the other night. Mason Pierchowski in the number 10. He's 0.8 back from the leaders right now. Joshua Worley, Mr. Squirrely himself, number 47, rocking the USA flags. Kyle Hirsch in the 121. He's 1.225 back from the leaders. Dean Stefani, he's the barrier right now. 877, the Canadian flag for him. Jace Wright in the number 1, rocking the car guy livery as always. Anthony Kelly is rocking the Fear Nothing Moto badged car in that number 7. And we've got, a C-Spire car. I like it for Daniel Hurst, the number 48. Neil Kerbel in the 395. I love this livery as always. The polka dots look super fly. The 213 of Philip Suzo in the 213. Alex Freeman in the number 14 for the 1.8 seconds back from the leaders. Patrick Dubois for RR. Patrick Godot, excuse me, in the 87. Potts Weaver in the number 13. He's 2 seconds back right now. Then we've got Eric the Boss Kakassian, and we've got Devin Anthony following Eric the Boss Kakassian, fan favorite as always in that number 52. Rand Marino in the number 33. Ooh, a Red Bull livery. That looks pretty nice. And we got Professor Cronotis rocking the number 42. Let's get looking at the leaders as the race is about to get underway, folks. Action's going to be all around everywhere you look. We're going to see a lot of people going forwards and backwards as we deal with this fast and flowy track at the Barcelona Catalunya circuit. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. Thank you very much for enduring and helping me out with everything. You guys are the best fans in all of Twitch history that I could have ever asked for. Thank you guys always for your love and support. And we've got the green flag waving as the drivers come down the front straight. Looks like Ricardo Rivera, Luke Lozama, Mattia Porta, and Jake Wells all doing pretty well. Almost 3 wide coming down the front straight. Looks like Luke Lozama has actually gotten into 1st place right now. And can he hold on in front of Ricardo Rivera? He does a good job, and there's side-by-side contact between those two McLarens. They tried really hard not to touch, but they just got squeezed out. Did Jake Wells get pushed back? I don't think so. He's right there in the mix. Excuse me. Mattia Porta's the one who got pushed back. No, he's holding on to 4th place right now. Everything looking pretty good. Kyle Hirsch, 3 wide, almost going into seat. It is very nice and tidy, though, at turn Repsol. Now going into seat, Oh, deep on the inside. Who's that? That's Kyle Hirsch trying to bump that number 47 of Joshua Worley out, but doesn't have any contact. And it looks like the car guy of Jace Wright is going to try to follow through, and there is contact in the background. Daniel Hirsch and Dean Stefani, I believe, get into it. Or is that Philip Souzo? I couldn't tell. But a little bit of touching there. 3 wide going into Kemsa. Whoa, and it looks like the Fear Nothing moto car in the background got bumped off and into oblivion, off into the dirt. Oh my goodness. This is an action-packed round race 1 that we're gonna have here to finish out this championship. The drivers are out for blood, and we're only less than a few minutes into this right now. I haven't even completed the first lap, but the drivers are bumping and banging, getting their elbows out, trying to find some real estate here out on track. As the drivers come through and finish their first flying lap, let's see how well they're going to be able to stick together right now. That Darren Wicks out in the background, it sure is. Battle right now between Sozo and Patrick Dubois. Dubois looking around the outside of turn 1. Will he have anything to do about this? I'm sure he will. He's almost fully ahead right there at the apex, but it closes down so much. He's able to get the track space from Sozo, and what a good defensive move from him. Amazing stuff. Let's stop back at the leaders of this race. This is Kyle Hirsch, Jace Wright, and Mason Perchowski in the pink car. There's Jace Wright in the background of the car guy, flying that number 1 flag high and by. Doing a great job holding on, pushing forward. He's got traction beneath his car on the optimum line. Who else is out here? Jace Wright, Joshua Worley, Neil Kerbel, Patrick Dubois, Philip Souzo. Still battling it out in the background behind, not losing touch with each other just yet. Here's on board with Jace Wright. Thank you, Joko, for the 1 sub gifted. Appreciate you, sir. Oh, let's take a look at this up at the front. Ricardo Rivera chasing down Luke Lozama, but also Eric Gakosian trying to chase down Anthony Kelly. Got a 3-way battle in the back, 13th, 14th, and 15th place. We're going to keep an eye on it. Almost goes into the back of Luke Lozama. Backs out of that one significantly and roasts his tires on doing that. That was alarming. Let's check out Alex Freeman right now and Professor Kronotis as they come to the chicane section. I think Alex Freeman might have been involved in an earlier incident. Looking at the positions gained, he was. Lost 4 positions. So did Dean Stefani, who's further back, flying the number 877 with the 7 door badge. Worley chasing down Hirsch and Jace Wright. 3-way battle here as well. More 3-way battles everywhere I look. Mattia Porta, Jake Wells, Ricardo Rivera up at the front. Then we've got Kyle Hirsch, Joshua Worley, and Jace Wright all chasing each other down. And then further back for 14th, 15th, and 16th, we've got Eric Gakosian, Daniel Hirsch, and Anthony Kelly. Mattia Porta rocking the Sim Racing Team livery, the number 44, looking pretty good. Like to see the custom liveries everybody's able to bring every Wednesday. Thank you very much for the reminders to keep grabbing those. It sure is beneficial to keep having them and seeing them. It gives a lot of personality to what the drivers bring to the table for sure. And it's definitely one of my favorite things that I like to see about it. Drivers bring a lot of personality. They're not only their liveries, but also their driving styles. As you go through a season with these people, your skills will always continue to develop over and over and over again and be pushed to the absolute limit. And we've seen some of that earlier on in this race with a little elbow banging here and there. That's because the drivers have developed a lot of trust with each other so far. Let me know if that's been your experience in sim racing with Tracklicious, or if you feel otherwise. Actually, let me know what your favorite thing about racing with Tracklicious is. I'd love to hear everybody's feedback on that. Suso chasing down Dubois, trying to get revenge back for that position he lost earlier. Oh, using a lot of the track space right now, going in towards turn 1 of Elf. really closes down that gap. That Mustang cannot take that twisty bit very well of turn 2. That McLaren does a really great job of closing down the gap really, really tight there. And this is Ricardo Rivera chasing down Luke Lezama for P1. Ricardo Rivera does not need to finish in first place or at all in this race, actually, to walk away with the championship, but I'm sure it'll be another nice notch in his belt if he does do that. He's going to battle to the end of the day here with Luke Lezama, I'm sure, who has a little bit of a connection issue, blinking and blunking at us. Perhaps he needs a little bit more blinker fluid in him. Go on board with Ricardo Rivera. Take a look at how he does his best laps of the race. Last lap was the best lap of the race at 1:43.570. Despite that little mistake he made going into the chicane, he still holds on to that fast lap. Luke Lezama pushing it to the limit on track exit right there. I'm not sure that lap will stay valid. His last was a 1:43.817. Ricardo Rivera's a 1:43.8 flat. So the best laps are trickling in right now as the drivers get their tires warmed up. We will have a mandatory 1 pit stop for the drivers to take. Somewhere in this, they will have to take at least 1 liter of fuel. It looks like Jake Wells went backwards for just a moment, but everything seems to be okay with his car. He's still holding on to 3rd place right now, doing a fantastic job. His race pace matching the leaders even, a 1:43.7, beating Mattia Porta's 1:44.1. Great job out of Jake Wells. He must know this track or have done some decent practice on it. He's having a great time out there right now. 2 tenths down on his personal best, but that's just because that green car is getting really big in his rearview mirror. And there goes Mattia Porta, trying to make a move deep on the brake there at Campsa. Jake Wells is pushing it to the absolute limit right now, even touching a little bit of pocket sand, throwing it over his shoulder, trying to give Mattia Porta something to look at. A little bit of a squirrely wheel there for Mattia Porta as he got on throttle, but doing a good job of maintaining it the best of his ability. This McLaren staying pretty planted in this 2 McLaren battle. And we've got 2 quite different cars up at the front, a Porsche and a McLaren as well, battling it out for P1 and P2. This is the battle for P3 and P4 for Jake Wells and Mattia Porta. Jake Wells has got to be happy with anything that he's able to salvage out of this race. Ricardo Rivera almost had a move done on Luke Lezama for just a second, but not quite enough. Goes to the optimal line, uses as much of that track space as possible, and almost goes into the back of Lezama, giving him a little bump in the rump there, a little hurry up, why don't ya? I think he realizes that they're getting slowed down. Last lap around for Lezama was a 1:43.9, and it looks like the 1:43.58 for Rivera. So yeah, he's giving him the hurry up, quick, fast, in a hurry, move this thing along before we all get passed up by Jake Wells in the background. And Jake Wells is still managing to do a 1:44.3 right now, so not on the race leader's pace anymore. But holding on to this position and keeping Mattia Porta honest right now, who's done a 1:44.0. Taking a look again at Jace Wright's battle with Mason Pirochowski. Pirochowski's running that pink livery he's always seen doing. And the number 10 up ahead. Gap's opening up quite a bit there. That was a big mistake. Here's Dubois chasing down Neil Kerbel. Is Neil Kerbel? Oh, there goes Dubois out and into the kitty litter for just a hair. And Neil Kerbel staying on the track. Now he's got 2 cars to defend from. Can he defend from one or push back that car into another car? That's Philip Souzo in the background. Less than 3 tenths right now separating him from Souzo. What's going on, CS Hootie? Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for your support. Whoa, there's a big look on the inside for Devin Anthony. Made a look, but didn't want to act on it. Maybe just tried to give Neil Kerbel the scare. He sure did give me one. Everything looking good for Neil Kerbel right now as Dubois chases down Kerbel. Oh, and there's Suzo trying to go around the outside of Repsol. Can he get it done? He's going to go super deep right now. Side-by-side action through Repsol concludes with, looks like Dubois stays in front, and Neil Kerbel must have disconnected from the server. I believe he did. He did. Now that is position gain for everybody behind. That three-way now just into a two-way. And hopefully we can get him back in the race and running again for Mr. Kerbel. Oh, Kyle Hirsch, Chase Wright side by side at Blanc-Sabel. A little bit of contact there between those two drivers. Jace Wright gains the position. Kyle Hirsch goes off and into the gravel. Slows his efforts down, but that contact concluded. Let's take a quick look and see what happened there. Looks like Jace Wright did all right, maybe a little deep there, and then there's the side-by-side action between him and Jace Wright. Now, or Hirsch, excuse me, clicking and clattering against each other. Holds on to the position, but just barely. Potts Weaver taking his mandatory pit stop nice and early for the number 13 and 19th place. Running around 1:45.59 right now. He'll be able to catch up some of the drivers that are out in front. And in case nobody's noticed, I'm joined today by my good friend, Mike Noos. Tie and all. This gap is just opening and closing over and over again. Luke Lozama, Ricardo Rivera going to turn 10. Oh, there goes Ricardo Rivera making a good look at turn 12, Blanc-Sabel. Luke Lozama is doing really good to be able to stay out in front where it really matters. He knows his time and his pace is in these twisty bits of this track. He's got to build that gap consistently to be able to stay in the lead coming down the front straight. You'll see this gap shrink back down from Ricardo Rivera to Luke Lozama out in P1. It was about half a second. It's going to come down to about 3/10 right now as we go into the uphill section. There it is, closed down deep on the brakes. Maybe staying right around half a second even. Luke Lozama negotiating these turns very well right now. Using all the track space that he possibly can on turn entry. Very punny indeed. I know. Had to try it at least once, Mike. Oh, Mattia Porta, Jake Wells getting really close as well. Couple tenths separating them. This is always going to be the battle that we're going to stick on to. Battles for 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're glued to them like super glue. Because these gaps keep on shrinking and expanding. Slinkying back and forth. There's Lozama, Rivera, Wells, Porta. All four drivers separated by about 5 seconds total. Jake Wells on a beautiful drive right now. Get out your exclamation point curses just in case. I'll take ownership of that, but man, Jake Wells is on a rampage right now to be up into third place. Very glad to see him running well. That'll shake up the standings for sure for the best of the rest. Devin Anthony also taking his pit. The number 52s down into 19th place. He's behind Potts Weaver right now. Taking a 28.5 second pit stop, so it looks like just fuel for him possibly. Potts Weaver with a 30.1 stationary, so he took him. What happened to Hirsch? Hirsch is taking his pit stop right now. Ricardo Rivera really looking anywhere that he can to try to get around Luke Lozama. He knows there's an opening coming up. He's just got to be present for it when it does arise. I'm sure he keeps saying to himself that this guy's got to be human. He'll make a mistake eventually, or these tires will fall off. I wonder what their pit stop strategies will be to try to get the over-under on each other. If Ricardo Rivera thinks that he's losing time, he should pit early. Right about now would be the most opportune time, or he could be hoping that Lozama ends up taking it. Beautiful entry to Blanc-Sabadell. Using all of that exit that they possibly can there. Oh, Lozama getting a little bit whirly over that curb there. And oh, there goes Jake Wells as well. Get quite a bit unsettled there coming down the front straight. As he's worried that he's giving up enough draft to Mattia Porta to make that mistake turn into an opportunity. But will it be? I don't think so. Not quite yet, Jake. You're holding on pretty good for the Cimarais team. See him chopping away at the wheel in front of us. Here's on board with Mattia Porta, looking forward at Jake Wells. Hoping for anything to happen. And they are about to catch, is that Devin Anthony in front? That is Devin Anthony. They will be catching a back marker here. Actually, a race leader for position technically, since he has taken his first pit stop. This will be interesting to see how that pans out. Here goes Kyle Hirsch again with Jace Wright. Side-by-side action going through turn 8. And through turn 9, they seem to be okay with each other. Whoa, that was a lot of wheel work for Kyle Hirsch. Chopping it up like a NASCAR driver. Can't be what he was wanting it to do. Anthony Kelly taking his pit stop right now, the number 7 for FNM Motorsports. He's on his way out right now. Mattia Porta is into the pits as well. Into the pits from 4th place, promotes Darren Wicks up into 4th. Maybe he thinks he was losing a little bit of time. Here goes side-by-side action. Oh no. It concluded before it even started, before turn 3 even got going. Here it is. This might be the move of the race. Luke Lozama covers off the line. Returns back to the racing line swiftly to block off any opportunity from Ricardo Rivera. No shame there. And there's a Fear Nothing Moto car right in front of him. And how they negotiate this back marker right now will be a huge thing to negotiate. On the inside goes Lozama. Ricardo Rivera out to the racing line. Has to back off as Luke Lozama was presently alongside. More side-by-side action going through turn 9, Campsa. Luke Lozama going a little bit wide there, but still manages to hold on. Ricardo Rivera takes a peek towards the inside, knowingly that he can't do anything to react there. When will Jake Wells take their pit? Mattia Porta did take tires, a 132.3 stationary. To me, that means he took tires. Oh, there goes Ricardo Rivera into the pits. He's in and in and in. Let's see how this pans out. I'll tell you all about the strategy that's coming up. Jake Wells promoted into second place right now, getting chased down by the Fear Nothing Moto car, who has already taken his pit stop. That's Anthony Kelly for the Fear Nothing Moto team. Jace Wright, Kyle Hirsch going after it again. The McLaren battle rages on up and down the grid. Oh, big look on the inside. Will he be there presently, wheel to wheel? I think he thought he was, but he sure wasn't. Kyle Hirsch holding on to his wheel for the life of him, as he got a little bit uneased on entry. His back end stepped out pretty rapidly, and he had to correct by sawing at the wheel like a lumberjack. He did so with style and got grace, in his grace, but he's not Miss United States, I'll tell you that. Joshua Worley now involved in this. He has not taken his pit stop either, but Jace Wright and Kyle Hirsch have been battling it out for so long that Josh Worley has been able to catch up by a significant amount. Here's the battle between Professor Kronotis and Dean Stefani. No pit stops between them either. Professor Kronotis rocking the beautiful blue shell livery from Mario. And I believe that's Dean Stefani rocking the number 7 badged car with an old vintage style. Eric Gakosian into the pits as well. Devin Anthony, Anthony Kelly, Daniel Hirsch, Potts Weaver, Mattia Porter, Ricardo Vera all taking their pit stops so far. Luke Lozama now taking his pits. It looks like Ricardo Rivera, the first of the leaders, taking his pit. Did take tires, the 35.1 stationary. Here comes Patrick DeBoe in. Here comes Kyle Kirsch in. Here comes Philip Souzo in. Jace Wright's in. And Lozama. This is for the lead. Let's see where Rivera is out on track. He's coming up towards the final sector. Ooh, thank you very much for the hydrate. I needed that more than you could know. Now the question is, where does Rivera end up? Where does Luke Lozama end up? Lozama's out of the pits right now. Where is Rivera? Getting held up in the background by Rand Marino. That's what's happening. Whoa! Returns to the racing line, cuts off Rand Marino, returns to his race as planned. Now Luke Lozama and Ricardo Rivera have got about a 7-second gap between, a 5.5-second gap between them right now. That's pretty big. Luke Lozama with a 27.2 stationary. Must have not taken tires, it seems. Very interesting strategy. Perhaps that Porsche is a little bit better than most on tires here at the Barcelona Circuit de Catalunya. Rest of the drivers coming into the pits. Jake Wells, Darren Wicks, Mason Perchowski. Potts Weaver now chasing down Daniel Hirsch in the number 48. That gap opened up pretty quickly there between 3 corners. Eric Gakosian chasing down Potts Weaver and Daniel Hirsch right in front, and then Philip Souzo is right in front. So all 4 of these cars on the same lap, on the same strategy, battling out for a position overall. Right now we've got Professor Kronotis sandwiched in between Ricardo Rivera and Luke Lozama, and a couple more pit stops coming out right now. I think the rest of the drivers who have not taken a pit are all in, minus Professor Kronotis, Rand Marino, and Joshua Worley. As Darren Wicks was into the pits just a moment ago. Give standings a moment to get updated as Darren Wicks tumbles down, goes back into 9th place. I was surprised to see him up in 4th for a second, but that couldn't have been right. Mattia Porta is able to get around Professor Chronotis. Chronotis, realizing that that's not his battle to be a part of, easily lets Mattia Porta by. And now we've got another 5.3 seconds gap between between Jake Wells and Mattia Porta. 3.3 seconds between Jake Wells and Ricardo Rivera. Taking a minute to look at all the liveries that we have out on track, everybody. There are quite some good ones here. All the way from Joshua Worley's stock classic BMW livery, all the way towards Neil Kerbel's polka dot purple Vaporwave livery. Love to see them all. Let me know what your favorite one is in chat if you don't mind. Rand Marino diving into the pits, gets out of the way of Darren Wicks, and that'll be it for the last of the pit stoppers, besides Worley and Chronotis right now. At this rate, Worley might just go to the end, take a splash and dash, and call this race a day. About a 50-second transient time will put him in the top 10 for sure. Top 5, that might be optimistic, to say the least. Right now, we're looking at Eric the Boss Gakassian in 14th place right now. He's in that sandwich with Potts Weaver, Eric Gakassian, Daniel Hirsch, and Philip Souzo. Here's Kyle Hirsch chasing down, looks like Patrick DeVoe up in front, rocking the Mustang with the tears all over it. Patrick DeVoe not taking tires, a 27.4 second pit stop for him compared to the 38.0 of Kyle Hirsch. No! Luke Lozama with a DC. Dropping out of this race. That's not great. Oh, man. It looks like the championship is definitely sealed now. Side-by-side action going into La Casilla. Into turn 11, Blanc Sambandel. It looks like Kyle Hirsch is able to get the move done on Patrick Dubois pretty neatly there. Into the final sector, one of the best overtaking opportunities you could ask for. There's Worley into the pits right now. Let's see where he comes out after his splash and dash. Ooh, 33 stationary. No, 32 stationary for Worley. That will keep him in the top 10, but just barely, I think, as actually Kyle Hirsch and Patrick Dubois roll by. Nope, just barely stays out in front in P8. Jake Wells now in charge of this race right now, inheriting P1 with his tricky, slicky strategy. He's got no tires beneath him though right now and 15 minutes left to go. Is he letting Ricardo Rivera through? I think so. There it is. Ricardo Rivera slips through on Jake Wells, trying to save as much tire as he can. The battle's not his for P1, but the battle will be his for P4. Professor Chronotis still not taking to his pit stop right now. There goes a battle between Chronotis and Mason Perochowski. Technically not a battle for position overall, but they're battling like it sure is. Ferrari versus McLaren out on track. Chronotis still having to take his pit stop right now is the sandwich between Perochowski and Darren Wicks. Not even 2 seconds separating the three drivers right now. Here's Gakassian and Hirsch. Back over to Darren Wicks and Chronotis, as Wicks is trying to get past Chronotis before the end of turn 1 to try to get his attack on. Deep on the brakes on the inside, able to get the move done with relative ease. Chronotis, good heads up driving out of him. There goes Suzo down the order. Let's see what happened to Suzo very quickly. Going through what looks like turn 9. Everything seems okay, and then through the chicane. Oh, a little undulation going through the chicane. And he's going to have to wrap it back around. Got himself stuck in the gravel and then spinning the car right around the right way. Took some time. Philip Suzo down into the 14th place. Not too bad because that's where he started. Biggest gainer right now is Professor Chronotis with 15 positions gained, but he's still got to make that pit stop of his. Jake Wells up 1, Mattia Porta up 1, Mason Perchowski up 2, Wicks is net 0, Jace Wright's up 3, down 1 for Worley and Hirsch, Patrick Dubois up 6, Eric Gagosian's up 6, Potts Weaver's up 4, Devin Anthony's up 2, and Rand Marino's up 2. Dean Stefani's down 7, and Anthony Kelly's down 4. Those are your overall positions gained and lost right now for this race. Darren Wicks now already caught up to Mason Perchowski right now, coming towards turn 1. On the entry to Elf, will Darren Wicks leave enough space on the inside? Well, Perchowski goes a little squirrely there. Able to chop away at the wheel to make sure he stays down on the black stuff and not lose too much traction. Darren Wicks slipped in right behind, doing a great job of doing so. Mattia Porta now catching up to Jake Wells. This is the battle for the last step of the podium. P2, P3. And Chronotis has still not taken his pit stop right now. He's only got 11 more minutes to get it done. Whoa! Deep on the brakes there. Really caught up to Jake Wells in an orderly fashion. Just not realizing, I think, that he's not on the right tires. Or not on a new set of rubber, I should say. He is on the right set. Great camera angle through the chicane. One of my favorite things to watch. Jake Wells trying to shake that draft yet again off Mattia Porta, but Mattia Porta is not biting this time. Both drivers using as much of the runoff as humanly possible. Something happened to the 48 Hirsch, involved in an accident. Let's take a quick look at what happened to Hirsch. Involved in an accident with Gagosian, potentially. Oh, just a little bit of door banging. Nothing love lost between a couple of AMGs. Eric Gagosian leaving more than enough space for forgiveness sake. And now he's getting chased down by Potts Weaver, who's about a second adrift. Oh, there goes a big dive from Mattia Porta. We caught that just in the nick of time going in towards turn 10. A little bit of a flashy of the headlights from Jake Wells, who was not expecting that. Definitely had to take avoiding action to not collide with Mattia Porta and kill them both. Good heads-up driving. Oh, trying to make a look at it himself on the inside. I see a little bit of red in his eyes. Oh, what a nice draft. Jake Wells might have a run on Mattia Porta going in towards turn 1. They're side by side now. This is all fair in love and war. Will he go for it? Oh, he's pleasantly alongside. Sure does go for the move. And now they are alongside through turn 3 and turn 4 now. Let's get a heli cam of this. Mattia Porta goes back through. What an amazing battle. Heads up driving from both of these individuals to give them some space. That could have ended up in disaster or even worse in tears, but that was as fair as an overtake as you could try. Jake Wells, my hat's off to you, sir. What an amazing effort. On a side note, I do love how the Twitch clips names are just random gibberish. Neighborly, a suspicious spaghetti debated. Anybody want to comment on that? Eric Acacian chasing down Potts Weaver now. Looks like he's lost touch with the 48. Daniel Hirsch gone backwards. Don't see any incidents out of Daniel Hirsch. But he's not in touch with the other brother, AMG. Debated indeed, Vinny. Debated indeed. Is Professor Carnotus actually taking a pit stop? No. Whoa, his tires are gone though, as you can tell. He's staying out. This man won't stop for tires. This guy is going for a splash and dash at the very end of this race. Professor Carnotus is doing it again. And this is a little menage a trois. Philip Souzo going up against Eric Acacian and Potts Weaver, it looks like. Whoa, Eric, late on the brakes, Acacian. Really trying to close down that gap, but by how much? Maybe lost a little bit of time going in towards turn 2, as he was not really there on the curb's crest. And there goes Souzo on the inside trying to make a look, but that's all it was. He went to the restaurant, said, "Sir, may I look at the menu?" and then walked right out of the restaurant. Got his free bread, got his free water, and walked straight out of there. That's not a terrible thing if you go to... What's the restaurant that has the best free bread? Black Angus? Like chain restaurant, of course, I mean. And I'll take chips and salsa counts too, okay? Whoa! Almost a three-way accident. Acacian having to check up. Souzo having to check up. I think in California we have a restaurant called Celia's. That's really good. Any restaurant with rye bread. Ooh, that's okay. Sorry, Steve Jiggs. I didn't mean to make you hungry. Olive Garden, that's a good one, Vinny. That's a good one. They have pretty good breadsticks. They got really good breadsticks. I haven't been there in forever either. I hope the quality is stuck up. Oh, here goes Acacian on the inside towards turn 1. There goes Potts Weaver going wide a little bit, allowing that room to take place. And they're 3 wide going in through turn 2 almost. Souzo backed out of it. But he wanted a piece of the action for sure. Acacian gains the position. Potts goes backwards. There goes Souzo now gaining another position on the wounded bird that is Potts Weaver. Like a breadstick sitting on the bread of an Olive Garden, just getting snatched, grabbed, torn apart to shreds. I'm also preferable to any restaurant that has olive oil and balsamic. Any restaurant that has good olive oil and balsamic, I'll take it. But I'm also a Mexican food fan, so there's a lot of restaurants that serve great chips and salsa. Celia's is definitely one of them in California. If you're ever in California, make sure you find yourself a Celia's. And then I guess the one that everybody knows of the most is Chevy's. Chevy's has pretty good salsa, and their chips are always fresh because they got that tortilla maker just kind of like churning away 24/7. You got the little gremlins inside just churning away all day long. Little tortilla gremlins in there. Mike, I love Italian food. I'm Italian and German, so my DNA is made of pasta. Yeah. Monkey baby rage. Curious, ironic baby monkey rage. That's a good one. That's a good one. Whoa, no! There goes Dubois! Happened all on his own! What happened to the 87? Let's take a quick look. Just lit it up all on his own. Oh, tank slapper for sure, going over the sausages. Oh, man. The 87 out into the clutches of Eric Gakosian and Philip Souzo. He's got to have warm, hot tires at this point. And Eric will have no trouble trying to get past him. And Steve Jiggs, I'm sorry, I saw something about margaritas. All I can say is yes. Yes, indeed, margaritas. I feel like Mike Noss is more of a pina colada man. Whoa, Eric Gakosian on the inside of Dubois! What a lunge at turn 2, side by side, going up turn 3. There's Souzo going into the back of Gakosian! Holy Toledo! What an accident to happen! Let's take another look at that accident really quick. Here's Gakosian's lunge on Dubois. And they're side by side, but here's Souzo going into the back of Gakosian, just not leaving enough of a gap there because Gakosian was backing out, it looked like. And we're already on the final lap, apparently. This 45-minute race is coming to a conclusion. Ricardo Rivera in P1, just coming around turn 5 right now of seat. Stay on board with some of these other battles for now until he crosses the line. Whoa, huge lunge there. Potts Weaver getting passed by Anthony Kelly over the F&M car. What happened there? I gotta see this again. What? I don't think we're gonna catch it perfectly. Potts going. Oh, he just lost it. Whoa! Holy smokes, that was close! What a close call. Potts just stepped on the brakes there, and the Fear Nothing moto car of Anthony Kelly able to do a great job in obstacle avoidance. Ricardo Rivera takes P1, Mattia Porto will cross the line and take P2. Jake Wells in P3 doing a fantastic job finishing the race. It looks like Chronotis is out of the pit lane right now, finally waiting until the last second of this. And where's Darren Wicks? Darren Wicks in 4th place. Great job for Darren Wicks. What a fantastic drive for the 46 as well. Silent but deadly and eventless race. Mason Perchowski in 5th place. Again, a silent but deadly killer. Jace Wright had a lot of action to contend with all race long. He ended up in 6th. Worley in 7th for the number 47. Kyle Hirsch in the 1-2-1 in 8th. Dubois in 9th right now, getting chased down by Anthony Kelly and Potts Weaver. Kelly in 10th. Potts Weaver in 11th. Better content than SRO. Thank you very much, Estefano. Is that Estefano Barrera? No way. No way. Potts Weaver, Gakassian, Philip Suzo, Daniel Hirsch, and here comes Dean Stefani, Professor Chronotis, and Devin Anthony to finish out. If any of the drivers want to get in for a championship conversation, let's go ahead and get you into the green room. And I'll go ahead and drag you up to the tippy top. And we'll get you into the stream for a good conversation. If that is you, Estefano Barrera, great to see you again, brother. Long time no see. Thank you very much, CS Udi. Appreciate the love and support. Hope everybody got a little entertainment out of the chips and salsa versus Italian bread conversation. There goes Chronotis doing a nice pirouette for us at the end of the race. See if we can grab someone for the final moments of this stream, as this is the championship finale. Anybody in the green room? Oh, we got Jake Wells. Yes, let's grab Jake Wells, who had an amazing race to his name. Trying to drag Jake Wells up.
Green light, go, go, go.
I hear you.
Jake Wells, are you there, brother?
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. What a drive. How do you feel about P3?
Not very happy with it, actually. I just messed up my pit strategy.
What was wrong with the pit stop?
I misread how many laps were left. I wasn't paying attention to time, and I didn't take tires because I was like, okay, I know I put more fuel in. And, yeah, it just was one of those things. I didn't take tires, and that was it. Wrong track to not take tires on, for sure.
Oh, man, I thought that was your entire strategy. I thought your strategy was to avoid taking tires, gain a little bit of time in the pit lane, and then let everybody else have to catch up to you, because you inherited P1 at a certain point in time, and I thought you were just clocking away. But with that much time left, do you really feel that tires were the biggest hindrance on you?
Oh, 100%. I dropped basically about a second per lap off the guys that did take tires.
Oh, man. Okay. And you would have been right there with them. 5 seconds would have left you right where you were before.
Right.
But hindsight's 2020 at this point. If you were to redo your pit strategy, what were you looking for ideally, I guess?
Oh, I would have just took tires, and then I had about an extra 2 laps of fuel, so I could at least drop another 3 liters of fuel, which would have saved me a little bit more time as well.
Oh, man.
So less degradation.
It's the tiny things that you guys are worried about here. It's such an interesting concept in ACC. You're talking about, a couple liters of fuel, meaning that much degradation. But on a track like Barcelona, the track temperatures being relatively high anyways, it is a high deg circuit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very high. The left-hand side just gets destroyed.
Especially through turn 3.
Yes. Yeah, turn 3. And all the right-handers are just insanely quick.
Yeah.
A lot of downforce.
Now, were you practicing specifically for this race, or do you just know you had the confidence beneath you?
No, I got in probably about 30 minutes or so before race started and just did some laps real quick.
Oh, that's wicked. You did it. You did an amazing job. I was not expecting to be so far up the field, and you really did shake up the championship, by the way. I think you came into this like 14th or something like that. With a third place finish, gaining 25 points, that'll put you, God, it's just gonna skyrocket you.
Yeah, I've only done a couple of races, maybe 3 or 4, maybe.
Oh, so that's gonna skyrocket you in the championship standing. Yeah, 15th place, you're gonna be up at 150 something. You might be in the top. You're definitely gonna be in the top 10. I have a feeling.
I'll take it.
Yeah, that's a great way to end the season for sure. I know that's not what you wanted your final race to end on, you know, especially with the strategy, but how do you feel like the season went overall for you?
Good. It just, unfortunately, I work a lot of times at night, so these later races, I'm normally leaving by work for now, or leaving for work by now, and I'm just happy I'm able to at least take a part in some of the Trackalicious races. I mean, you guys do such a good job here, and you guys stream it out. It's really, really cool.
Right on,
it's fun
Jake.
to go back and watch everything.
Right on. Thank you so much. And I don't give me any credit. This is everybody else's work that I've just jumped on the bandwagon of. It's Erica Kazian, Mike Noss, Carnotis, Kerbal. I'm looking at the admin list right now. Casey Schutte, Ali Raza. There's so many admins that do so much work here that make it so that it's so easy for us to just show up and do the streaming part. I'm very grateful to be part of such a dynamic team that does so much. So hats off to all of the admins and everybody that puts in the hard work day after day to make sure that we're prepared to do what we love. And thank you guys for putting on a great show, Jake. It's been an amazing season to see you guys race. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next season as well.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Is there before you go, anybody you want to thank?
Just my wife and all my viewers and your guys' viewers. I mean, just the family that we have here is amazing at Trackalicious. So everybody, thank you guys. You guys are awesome.
Right on. Thanks, Jake. Take care, brother.
Thank you. You too.
All right, and I think I've got Daniel Hirsch up on the chopping block next. Let's see if I can grab him as well. Scrolling. Daniel Hirsch. There we go. Oh. Daniel Hirsch.
I'm just filing my reports.
Oh,
I got murdered twice.
I just dragged you into the screen. I just dragged you into the stream room. I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness, dude. I didn't know.
You were in the green room, right?
Yes, I was.
Okay, sorry. I had to drag you twice. It was such a long journey up here to the where the commentators sit. So I had to drag you halfway up the stairs and do it one more time.
Dude, I thought like I was in the green room. I thought people just entered the green room. I didn't know I was on stream just now. What's up, guys?
No.
That's awkward.
Yeah, sorry. I just kind of plop you in live and ready to go.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Now everyone knows that I'm like a tad bit upset, but you know, we're all good. We're all good. It was a fun race, guys.
So what happened? At some point you were in a battle with another AMG and then blip, there you went. Is that what you're
I've been taking a different line in between to turn 7.
Okay.
I think I was braking a little earlier into turn 7, so it could have been that. But yeah, I just got tapped from the back and spun, and in lap 1 the same thing happened into turn 7. So I mean, like, it might have been my fault, but I was watching it over. I don't think any of those were my fault. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, and we had a really good battle too at the beginning of the race. Me and that AMG. Yeah, I was right on him for a while, and then Then I let him get like a second ahead of me, and I was gonna undercut him, and that worked. But then we got into the next kerfuffle, so
Yeah.
who knows? But yeah, I think the turn one incident was, yeah, it was way worse, and it wasn't even him. So
Yeah, and it was
or
nice
not
to
turn
see.
one, turn 7, lap 1. Yeah.
Turn 7 is Worth, if I'm not mistaken. That's the slow left-hander with the little chicane and the big sausage, right?
Oh yeah, I was taking that
Okay.
differently all day.
Yeah. It's weird because there's not really a braking line up there,
Yeah,
right?
it is very strange. I was trying to use the curb as a braking line, and I think I was braking too hard
Yeah.
because I was getting kept up with like the whole time through that section, and yeah, I wasn't there for that.
It's weird because it's like you brake at the curb and
Mhm.
it stays pretty consistent there. But then you feel like you can always carry more speed because there's a lot of runoff on the corner exit, right? But
Yeah.
the sausage will invalidate your lap times, take away all that speed away. It's such a
Mhm.
weird point. It's somewhere in there. I feel like you're absolutely right. It's hard to take it super consistently.
Yeah, and maybe yeah, I don't even know. That was such a rough spot for the race for me. Everyone was eating me up through that corner, so
And then one of the nice things that I did see was that although it was another incident, unfortunately, you and the other AMG, I think that was Eric Gakosian, he did touch your rear end at one point on kind of like a late braking move, but he backed up significantly to build that distance back, gave that gap right back, and I don't think he challenged for it again. And that was one of the gentlemanly things to see. How did you see something like that happen?
oh dude, yeah, the Caucasian was really cool. Like we were racing side by side and like right on each other for the whole race. And like we got within inches of our bumpers, and we just raced a little too hard. And that happened. So
No, super good respect. And it's good battles like that will only ever last so long before they come to a conclusion, right? Good, bad, or
100%.
indifferent.
I was trying so hard to fight my brother. He was right up there in lap 1, and I was like, I'm gonna be right there. I don't care what's going on behind me. And
Oh,
I
so
might have
you've
gotten a little
confirmed it.
complacent. Hmm.
Sorry, you've
What
just confirmed
what?
it that you guys are brothers. We've been wondering in the
Mhm,
commentary
mhm.
booth for the longest time if
Oh
there was a
yeah.
relationship there, and
Yep.
finally it's been confirmed. Okay.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we're brothers. Oh, dude,
Oh,
I was right on him in lap 1. I was sad with that. Me, him, and Whirly hang out together.
oh, sweet.
Um,
Squirrely
and
Whirly, as I now call him.
Squirrely Whirly, I like that. Yeah. We came from a series called 505, and
Oh, yeah.
so yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, right on. I'm familiar with 505. Formerly was can't remember the guy's name.
Will Stewart, maybe?
Uh, was he the owner of it potentially?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. He used to make all the YouTube videos all the time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it used to long time ago. Obviously doesn't do that now. I believe he handed the track day-to-day stuff down. But enough about that, all that BS. How'd you feel about your season here at Tracklicious, though?
The couple races that I was in, I loved it. There was so much close racing. It was really good. I
Sweet.
enjoyed it. Yeah.
Well, are you coming back? Sounds like you had fun. I'm going to assume that much. Are you coming
Oh,
back for next
100%.
season?
Oh, I'm coming back, especially if you have it at 10, because it's really nice because my baby goes to sleep around 9. So it's one of the few series that I could actually do consistently.
Oh, heck yeah. Well, right on.
Hmm.
I'm glad to hear it, man. And it sounds like you're an East Coaster because it's almost 10 o'clock my time. So,
I'm a Central.
okay.
Central.
Got it.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
it works out well for you, and I think we're going to get a few others who are in the same boat as you, central time zones that put their kids down. So I'm glad this is working out for more than just the West Coasters. It's great to have the diversity of the grid, and we hope to see more and more of you in the future. Is there anybody that you wanted to thank before we head off?
Well, I thank God for making the world and making sim racing, and I thank my wife for making sure that the baby's down.
God bless
And
your wife for sure.
yeah, for sure. And I appreciate you guys for putting on the show for us.
Oh, anytime. It's truly is a pleasure to be able to come up, just do a broadcast and have a great time. You guys put on a great show and are well deserving of it. But like I said earlier, this is a great team that we have here at Tracklicious. Everybody gets to manage their part and puts on a great show in their own way. And there's so many different things that are going on Tracklicious continuously behind the scenes that just get handled. And I'm so grateful to be a part of this team more than anything. It's a great organization, and I'm definitely glad that you're going to be back next Wednesdays.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Thanks for having me.
No problem, brother. Take care and be safe, okay?
All right, you too. Later.
Later. Don't think I have anybody else in the stream team green room. Anybody? 1217 here for Mr. Dubois. Yeah, it's getting late here for everybody. I just wanted to say thank you guys very much again for having me. This has been an amazing experience for this being my first season here at Tracklicious. You guys have been more than welcoming, more than inviting, more than loving than I ever would have imagined. I truly, truly, truly did not expect such a warm welcome that was never spoken in words, but more so in actions. The actions that are given through the Twitch chatters, the actions that are given through the drivers every single week, the love, respect, and accolades that you guys give to every single one of the commentators. It was never just said, it was always shown. So I can't tell you how much that means to me. You guys have been an amazing community to be a part of, and I'm very grateful to be here. So thank you very much, everybody, for this opportunity. And we'll hope to see you back next Wednesday, everybody, for Tracklicious West Coast Wednesdays. But this wraps it up for this season. Go ahead and check out the standings and check us out on the SimGrid. We've got a wonderful calendar full of events that I'll display in just a moment. With that, I'm out, everybody. Make sure you stay safe and have a good time.
You muted? Okay, cool. Good shit. No, you're not muted.